Well, just a little bit more from that opening chapter. He Caputo spends, it's a brief reading, I know, but some nice stuff on Socrates, somewhere along there, maybe there it is, page 7 or so. One of the things, he breaks down that distinction in between philosophy and theology, as I mentioned earlier, at least a bit. I've been in bed a lot today. Insofar as philosophers also do their work for the sake of some community or communities. Maybe it's the American Philosophical Association, maybe it's the university they work for. There are various kinds of, communities for which one might engage in philosophical labor, but they're not doing it out there by themselves. The other thing is that I really liked what he had to say about Socrates as kind of he's one of the patron saints of philosophers, a secular saint, of course, not somebody who is up in heaven keeping watch over them. This says this on page 7. Really nice stuff. Socrates went around Athens asking questions of everyone, high or low, in search of a definition of the virtues. And, you've read the whole chapter, or the whole paragraph, chapter 2. And, philosophers greatly admire and try to imitate Socrates, maybe except for the execution part and accepting no pay for his teaching. A little bit of subtle humor there from Brother Caputo. And also, it provides me a little bit of a segue into the aforementioned Justin Martyr. Though it's worth noting that, this is an interesting thing, that where Caputo goes with this is to Søren Kierkegaard. And I know we mentioned Kierkegaard once in class, Danish philosopher, Christian, kind of radical Christian philosopher, born in 1813 and died in 1855. He was only 42 years old when he died. I was born 100 years later. Coincidence? Yeah, I think so. But I am half Dane as well. But he wild man. Kierkegaard thought of himself, he tried to be like Socrates. He certainly admired Socrates. That's all there. Right at the end of the chapter, page 9, both Kierkegaard and Socrates. So notice it's not Kierkegaard and Socrates, okay? I'm giving you the Kierkegaard, that's the Danish pronunciation. I learned it from my grandpa Lodal. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was about your age, and I'd first been reading this guy, and I don't think that I was sure that anybody knew how to pronounce his name. And during Christmas break, probably of my junior year, I think, my family was visiting my Danish grandparents in near Salem, Oregon, and I wrote down, the name that starts with a K, and I handed it to my Grandpa Lodal, Grandpa Christian Lodal. I said, Grandpa, how do you pronounce this man's name?